That's when he tried biting. That's when he tried biting. I ain't even noticed that till somebody said something.
I just know that from experience. So, you know, I think he lost the fight. If we're being really honest, Tank, you lost that fight. I mean, the only reason they gave you the fight was because you would make more money as a champion, but it's no way it's a draw.
When a fighter who is on top of his game meets his match in the ring, they tend to get desperate. We saw this when Mike Tyson bit Holyfield's ear off, and now we're seeing it with Tank Davis. In a recent interview, Lamont Roach revealed just how much Tank was playing dirty in the ring, from the random timeout to even trying to bite his ear off, which has many pros and fans expressing deep disappointment for Tank.
No, I thought he would, and I thought he won the fight personally. Yeah, the no knockdown, that was like unheard of. It was the first time I've ever seen it with my own two eyes. And
Terrence Crawford has stirred even more controversy with his take on Gervonta Davis's fight, criticizing the officiating and questioning the outcome. Appearing on the Big Podcast with Shaq, Crawford didn't hold back, stating that Davis taking a knee should have been ruled a knockdown. He emphasized that any fighter who voluntarily kneels should be counted, and he questioned why the referee stopped mid-count, hinting at possible favoritism.
Referring to the Tank fight, and when he took the knee, do you really think he had grease in his eye?
Well, let me start by saying 1,000% it should have been called a knockdown if you take a knee in any scenario in the fight. You know, I don't know if he had grease in his eye or what. I know he took a knee, and that should have been called a knockdown.
Beyond the knockdown debate, Crawford made an even bolder claim. He believed Roach deserved the victory outright. He pointed out that Roach was the busier and more aggressive fighter, landing more shots while Davis remained too inactive in key rounds. While acknowledging Davis's control in the middle rounds, Crawford argued that Roach dominated the early and final moments, showing greater hunger to win, thus leading to the desperate moves Tank was making in the ring. According to Crawford, Tank met someone that outclassed him, and Lamont Roach put down his ego.
No, I'm not.
He's a champ though too, undefeated.
And what champ? Come on, man, tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm gonna come up here where the big boys at.
Paulie Malignaggi also didn't hold back, calling Gervonta Davis a protected fighter and blasting the fight as another manufactured moment in boxing. He claimed Davis has been carefully guided, avoiding real challenges while being hyped as an unstoppable force. According to Malignaggi, the referee's decision to halt the count exposed the favoritism at play, proving Davis gets special treatment. He went even further, saying any fan still defending Davis after this is blindly supporting a fighter who hasn't truly earned his status. Malignaggi believes this fight was just another scripted event designed to maintain the illusion of Davis's dominance.
I don't know, man. You know, I can't keep reiterating how disappointing Gervonta Davis has been as far as the resume is concerned. If this is about as manufactured a star as you can make, and anybody who is going to defend that is really got to get their groupie lenses checked, because I've never seen a guy with this many pay-per-view headliners have not a single Hall of Famer on his resume. Not a single win on Gervonta Davis's resume will make you look at it.
Danny Garcia took a more balanced approach, but still pointed out a harsh truth. Gervonta Davis's struggles were inevitable. He admitted Tank had a tough night, but blamed it on his lack of real challenges. In Garcia's view, Davis should have been fighting top champions long ago, but his careful matchmaking left him unprepared for real adversity. Now, with the backlash piling up, Garcia believes it's simply the result of years of protection. Fans are frustrated because Davis has avoided true tests like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. And when he finally faced resistance, it exposed the flaws in his career path.
You know, it's just boxing, you just never know.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
that's why I say in boxing it's better for you to just fight the best. Because if you lose, you lost to a fighter like you, a dog like you. But if you lose to a fighter with a lesser of a name, and you're supposed to win or a performance like this, it hurts your resume.
Rolly Romero echoed the same sentiment, saying Gervonta Davis simply had an off night, just like he did against Isaac Cruz. According to Romero, every fighter faces tough nights, but when you're a star like Tank, the criticism is always louder. According to Rolly, even the best fighters can have a night where they are not at their best, and this should not necessarily lead to hate. But with Tank, things are different. Raleigh knows people like to pick at Tank, and that is one of the reasons a friend of Lamont Roach told him about the biting. However, to Raleigh, it's this pressure that often kills a fighter's motivation in the ring.
That people want to discredit Tank, he's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a off night with Cruz. Everyone has a off night. It's boxing.
For years, the word protected has followed Gervonta Davis like a dark cloud. From the moment he aligned with Floyd Mayweather, many in the boxing world questioned whether he was truly being tested or just carefully managed to keep his undefeated record intact. His opponents were often handpicked, fights were controlled on his terms, and the biggest names in his division were consistently sidestepped. Now, after this controversial draw with Lamont Roach, the doubts surrounding his career are louder than ever. The myth of Tank's invincibility has taken a serious hit, and for the first time, the world is seeing what happens when he's not in control. Matter of fact, Canelo takes this a step further and suggests that the behavior Tank displayed in the ring should have led to a direct disqualification.
Did Gervonta Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, if it was a draw, he take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face, that's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules.
Boxing fans and pros alike have long criticized Tank for avoiding real challenges. While fighters like Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Teofimo Lopez have stepped into dangerous fights, Tank has remained in his comfort zone. He built his reputation with flashy knockouts, but against fighters who posed little threat to him. The moment he struggled against Isaac Cruz, the protected label gained more traction, and now, with Roach exposing even more flaws, that label is sticking harder than ever.
Skill for skill, none of these guys can mess with me. Like, nobody. Like, I feel like my skills is way better than like Floyd. Like, if I'm on my game. You feel, well, yeah, I take that back. Probably hand in hand. But skill wise, nobody on TV that's fighting right now have more skills than me. Nobody. Like, I'm talking about top to bottom list of fighters that's fighting on TV.
So what that got to do with you being, I guess, embarrassing? Like, because again, we seen you make posts on a story like the fight not happening. Like,
cause I don't never want to, like, me not doing my job like all the way, like me not training all the way, me not, you know?
Roach did something few expected. He made Tank look vulnerable. He didn't just survive. He fought Tank on even terms and arguably did enough to win. He landed clean shots, wobbled Tank, and made him uncomfortable in ways no other opponent has. If Roach had more power, Tank might have been on the receiving end of a viral knockout, something that would have haunted his career forever. That's what makes this situation different. Tank isn't just dealing with a controversial fight result. He's dealing with the very real fear that Roach could have humiliated him.
It wasn't even registering or processing through my mind the other rules, to the simple fact that he could have got disqualified for having his corner come up to the ring and assist him during the round, or
you can't come to the mat.
Do that, or he can't turn his back on the, like during the fight. That's cause for that's the wave it all. He took a knee and then turned around and went to the corner. A ref will usually stop the fight.
And yet, when asked about a rematch, Tank wasn't his usual self. He wasn't demanding to run it back, he wasn't brushing off Roach as an easy fight, and he wasn't promising to correct the mistake. Instead, he hesitated. That hesitation is exactly why fans and critics are questioning him more than ever. If Tank truly believed he won, why not shut down the doubters with a rematch? If he thought Roach was no match for him, why not erase the controversy in dominant fashion? The fact that Tank didn't immediately embrace the idea of a rematch only fueled the belief that he knows he's in for another rough night.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
But the rematch is unavoidable. The backlash, the scrutiny, and the questions about his legitimacy have made sure of that. If Tank refuses, he confirms every criticism about his career, that he's been protected, that he avoids real risks, and that he was never as good as he claimed. If he takes the rematch, he walks into the ring knowing that Roach has already hurt him once. And this time, the pressure will be higher than ever. Tank's greatest fear isn't just losing, it's becoming a meme, the punchline of a viral moment. And right now, Roach is the one fighter who came dangerously close to making that fear a reality.
He said he open do a rematch. Do you want to fight?
100%. It's only a matter of time. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight again. It's just whenever the fight gonna happen.
So it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Jaron Boots Ennis sees the backlash against Gervonta Davis as nothing more than hate. He believes people have always been looking for a reason to tear Tank down, and this fight just gave them more fuel. According to Ennis, the criticism isn't about boxing, it's about personal dislike, and with Lamont Roach's corner adding to the chaos, throwing out lawsuits, making allegations, and even claiming Tank tried to bite his ear, the negativity has only intensified. Every controversy, every accusation, and every questionable moment is now being used to paint Tank as the villain, making it even easier for critics to attack him.
And Lamont not being a big name, so they overblow it?
I think so, yeah, and I feel like people just don't like Tank to a point where any little thing, just because he ain't knock him out, he probably feel as though that he lost, and he didn't, or it was a draw, you know. I feel like Tank was doing a lot of smart things in the beginning. Moving a little bit too much, but I feel like he was still like frustrating and things like that. And I think Tank did a good job. Like, he looked sharp than me. And I don't know, people just be talking. You know, at the end of the day, you can't please everybody.
Teofimo Lopez has never been shy about calling out Gervonta Davis, and after watching Tank struggle against Lamont Roach, he's more convinced than ever that Tank isn't as talented as people think. To Teofimo, the fight exposed Tank's limits. Forget the ear-biting allegations. The real story was how much Tank struggled. He wasn't in control, wasn't dominant, and looked lost at times. And if Roach could give him that much trouble, Teofimo believes there's no way Tank survives against Shakur Stevenson. In his eyes, Shakur would pick Tank apart with ease, proving once and for all that Tank has been overrated. Of course, Tank's corner doesn't believe the same. Kenya Ellis even fired back at Teofimo, saying he wouldn't survive a fight with Tank because he has analyzed his fighting style up close.
But now, I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to put that on T.O. because he don't deserve it, but it's a certain area. If he get cut, his career is just about done. Because I've seen him with several fighters in the past.
To add to Teofimo's take, Shakur Stevenson has also joined the conversation. Shakur Stevenson has been pushing for a fight with Gervonta Davis for a while, and after watching Tank's performance against Lamont Roach, he feels even more confident about what would happen if they met in the ring. To Stevenson, Roach exposed Tank's flaws. He wasn't in control, he wasn't dictating the pace, and he wasn't ready for what Roach was bringing. In Stevenson's eyes, Tank overlooked Roach and paid the price. He expected an easy night, but got caught off guard when Roach started landing clean shots.
All the talk throughout the years, what you would do against somebody like Tank, your style versus his, was that not the blueprint? And can you not do 10x that?
I'm not even going to show her, but look, I want some money tonight. That's all I'm happy for. I want money tonight.
Shakur, tell us something, bro. Like, what did you think about the decision? Okay.
We still got to see each other. He say he want to fight me, so we going to fight.
But what do you think about the decision?
I told him I won.
You told him I won. Got you. I'll talk to you later, Shakur. Good looking.
What stood out most to Stevenson was how Tank reacted under pressure. He believes Roach's ability to counter and push forward left Tank uncomfortable, something that rarely happens in his fights. And when Roach landed his best shots, Stevenson saw a fighter who wasn't as dominant as people believed. Now, with fans and fighters questioning Tank's ability, Stevenson sees an opportunity. He's ready to prove that Tank has always been overrated. And if Tank continues to run from him, Shakur is aiming to beat the man who shook the legend, Lamont Roach himself. Lamont Roach has even recently revealed that a fight between him and Shakur is already in talks.
Shakur Stevenson said that if you can't get the rematch, he has a championship fight waiting for you. What do you think about that?
That's why I love him. Genuinely speaking, man, that's what I want to do. I want to fight the best fights. Like I said, hopefully we can get the rematch. If not, hopefully I can, well, more than likely we can get in there with Shakur because, we already talked.
Eddie Hearn thinks the backlash against Gervonta Davis has gone too far. While he agrees that the 9th round wasn't clean and that Tank should have been given a knockdown count, he doesn't believe it's enough to overturn the result. To him, a warning would have been the right call, not a suspension, not disqualification, and certainly not changing the outcome of the fight. Hearn also doesn't expect the New York Athletic Commission to intervene. He sees the controversy as something that should push Tank to come back stronger rather than become a reason to discredit his career. While some believe the fight should be reviewed, Hearn doesn't think Roach should be awarded the win. Instead, he sees this as just another lesson for Tank, one that should motivate him to be more disciplined in the ring. Despite all the noise, Hearn believes the draw should stand and Tank will move forward.
Well, honestly, I haven't watched the fight. We had a show that night. I haven't watched the full fight. One thing that's kind of baffling is that it wasn't a knockdown. I mean, look, he wasn't hurt. There's no doubt about that. But if you take a knee in the fight and you touch down, whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, "Oh, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner." I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning. But it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, like, there was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight. Like, Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight. And Shakur said to me, like, even the day before, I'm telling you, he's going to have big trouble tomorrow night. And I just feel like hopefully this could be the little something that gives Gervonta a little wake-up call to take him back to the mindset of maybe where he was.
Joe Rogan didn't hold back when reacting to Gervonta Davis's controversial draw against Lamont Roach. While many were debating whether Tank truly deserved the result, Rogan's focus was on Roach's performance. He admitted he hadn't watched Roach fight before, but was now a big fan, something that felt like an indirect jab at Tank. Instead of praising Davis, Rogan highlighted Roach's skills and expressed hope for a rematch, a statement that only fueled the ongoing debate. For Davis, this wasn't just another opinion, it was another high-profile figure questioning his dominance. Rogan's words added to the growing narrative that Tank had been exposed, that he wasn't the unbeatable force many believed him to be.
Because of that knee, it becomes a victory. I think it should be a victory for him, and I think they should do a rematch.
100%.
Everybody saw it. You can't get around what everybody saw. Look, it wasn't a legit knockdown like he hurt Tank. Tank did have some shit in his eyes, but what are you doing putting your hair when you have a world title fight? That's crazy.
And no one want to hear about it in the middle of a fight. That no one cares. If a fly by, drop the ball, bro.
Right.
Drop the damn ball. We don't care if a fly flew by your helmet or your eyes.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck.
You can't be a championship fighter and taking a knee and putting on those type of performances.
Also, what are they putting in his hair? That when he's sweating is...
With more voices supporting Roach, the pressure for a rematch became even greater. Now, as talks of a second fight gain momentum, Davis finds himself in an unfamiliar position, fighting to regain the respect he once commanded. The pressure on Gervonta Davis is mounting, and now WBA President Gilberto Mendoza is making things even more serious by pushing for an immediate rematch between Davis and Lamont Roach. Junior Mendoza's stance could force the WBA Championships Committee to make a ruling that ensures Roach gets another shot at what many believe was a stolen victory. With all the controversy surrounding the fight, Mendoza's move is being seen as a push for justice.
The reason why I say this fight needs to happen again because both fighters have something to prove. I just saw a tweet from Gervonta Tank Davis saying that he was going to activate the rematch. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Would I like to see this fight happen? Yes, I would like to see a fight happen again because I think that the next fight is going to be a whole lot better. And I think the next fight is going to end with somebody being on the canvas, in my opinion.
Roach, who walked into the fight as an underdog, has suddenly become one of the biggest talking points in boxing. His performance not only shocked the fans, but also caught the attention of major figures in the sport. Even Joe Rogan has taken notice, publicly praising Roach while barely acknowledging Davis. If Roach ends up on Rogan's podcast, it could further skyrocket his profile, cementing his place as the fighter who exposed the so-called face of boxing. Meanwhile, Davis isn't just dealing with criticism from fans and analysts, he's also facing harsh words from the Garcia camp. Ryan Garcia's father, Henry Garcia, did not hold back when discussing Tank's performance. According to him, Davis's age is beginning to show, and his legs aren't the same as they used to be. He also pointed out that Tank switching trainers could have played a role in his lackluster showing. But the most damning statement was when he said there was simply no way anyone could claim Tank won that fight.
Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count. But it is.
For Davis, the rematch isn't just about defending his WBA title, it's about silencing all the voices doubting his abilities. Ever since his split from Floyd Mayweather, he has been accused of being too careful with his career choices, strategically avoiding the toughest challenges. This fight against Roach only made those accusations louder. If the rematch happens and Davis struggles again, it could permanently damage his reputation. The controversy also raises questions about Tank's future in the sport. If Roach was able to push him to the limit, what happens when he steps in the ring with someone like Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson? Many believe that Davis has been protected throughout his career, picking opponents who suit his style rather than testing himself against the best.
Promoter Gary Jonas shed some light on the negotiations for the rematch. While he didn't give too many details, Jonas did say that the second bout between Davis and Roach Jr. is all but finalized. Let's hear what he got to say right now.
Important question on everyone's mind. How close is the rematch? How big will it be? How close is it to getting done?
Very close. It's in my mind, it's a done deal, but there are formalities, but it's a done deal and it's not far off.
This rematch is his chance to prove that he's still the dominant force he claims to be. But Roach isn't backing down. He knows that this rematch is his opportunity to shock the world again. With the WBA stepping in, it's becoming clear that Roach's performance wasn't just a fluke, it was a statement. And now, Davis has to respond. All eyes are on the WBA's decision, but one thing is certain. If this rematch happens, the stakes will be higher than ever. Davis isn't just fighting Roach, he's fighting for his credibility, his legacy, and his place at the top of the sport.
I already signed. My first contract is signed for an immediate rematch in the case of a draw or if I win. So I'm already contractually signed to a rematch. It's on him. I hope we can get it done because I want to show the world again that that wasn't a fluke.
The rematch is shaping up to be more than just another title fight. It's a defining moment in Tank's career. For years, critics have accused Davis of carefully navigating his career to avoid dangerous opponents, but now, with the WBA stepping in, he has no choice but to prove himself against the one fighter who nearly took him down. Roach, on the other hand, is riding a wave of momentum. Once overlooked, he now finds himself in the spotlight with powerful voices backing his case for a rematch. If he can repeat his performance, or even go one step further and defeat Davis outright, he could permanently alter the boxing landscape.
You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? That is it. Lamont, please say that in the second fight. Any questions? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank?
For Tank, this fight isn't just about defending his belt. It's about silencing the doubters, reclaiming his aura of invincibility, and showing that his time at the top is far from over. But if he falters again, the conversation will shift from questioning his competition to questioning his actual skill level. Well, what do you think? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.